thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts, cause I'm too lost. Off the speakers can't even handle me. Even what I got, nobody still drain my energy. And I will never stop, I'm motivated by enemies. Setting up shop so everybody remember me. And now I am not going through life regretfully. I'd rather work non-stop, what they call incessantly, than work some odd jobs to live life pleasantly. Already got lost in my mind, not a fantasy. I'm getting ill-gotten souls, so stop, drop, and roll. You lost all control and pop off your balls. I got squat, I fold, I'm not.
Hey guys, welcome to the Sumter National Enduro 2023. My name is Ryder Sigety and I'm an AmPro factory support off-road racer. My dad is Mike Sigety.
Hello.
And this was definitely a fun one. I mean, you might hear me blipping the throttle a little bit. That's because I really wasn't used to this bike. I mean, this was my first race on the bike and I just had it, I wasn't ready, I guess you could say, because I wasn't used to all the power. This bridge right here was actually really slippery, even though it didn't look that slippery. And when I was going over it, I didn't think it was going to be slippery. I was sliding all over the place.
So funny you should say you weren't used to the bike, because it's a 2023 YZ, but you know, everything's brand new and fresh. And like Travis Pastrana used to say, if you're practicing on a used bike all the time and you get on a new bike for your race, it's going to take a little while to get used to. And that's why he used to sometimes over-rotate stuff, because he just wasn't used to the freshness of his brand new race bike. Well, you got over that blipping soon.
Yeah, I did. So, guys, you see our sponsors here. If you look at any of them and you need some support with any of them, or you want a discount code, just put it in the comments or private message us. So right here is Jonathan Johnson, and he is the top rider for Beta's factory team. And he races NE2 in National Enduro and XC2 in GNCC, and that's pretty much one below from the highest class that you can race. And you see him wearing a sweatshirt. I guess maybe he didn't get his gear in yet, but yeah.
He is the Beta top factory racer. And by the way, this video is going to show you highlights from each section. So that was section 1 right there, and now you're going to see section 2. And stay tuned, because we got some pretty interesting stuff to show you with the overall results, with Kawasaki, for example, winning its first National Enduro in maybe 30 years. So we're going to go over that in a little bit.
You probably just saw my hand showing you. Usually when I'm editing, or sometimes when I'm editing, I get confused and I mix up the sections. So there I just showed you. Now we're going into section 2.
So do you find that people move over easier in the National Enduros?
Yeah, I think that people definitely move over a lot easier at the National Enduros than they do at the hare scrambles, because they kind of know that you're catching them. So coming up right here, I come around this corner and a vine just rips me off the bike. You see that vine? And I fall on the ground. Thankfully the bike didn't stall or anything, but it definitely just raised my heart rate up and didn't help too much.
Yeah, so there's going to be a couple crashes actually coming up where you clip a tree or something and kind of rips you off the bike, so stay tuned, because we got that on video. Thank God he didn't get hurt, but it's definitely a little eye-opening when you're whizzing through these trees at the speeds that you're going.
So at this race, there was a little over 60 local and national pros, which I thought was pretty cool. And also, coming up, I'd take a pretty cool line, I thought. I missed one of the lines, but I ended up taking some sort of alternate line. I'm not really sure how much faster it was, though.
So if we bring up the results here, we'll put them up in the corner. We're going to keep them kind of small, but we'll just enlarge it real quick for a couple seconds. And if you want to study it, you can just pause it. So the way the Enduro works is there's 6 sections, and as you can see, his time and his overall for the day is listed on each section, with his worst overall section of the day being 93rd and his best overall section of the day being 52nd. So in his class, they don't really score you for the last 2 sections, even though they do give you the official clock score. You don't get listed in the overall, but you get your time so you can add it up. And then at the end of the day, he ended up getting 63rd overall for the day, which I thought was really good for him. So I'm proud of him. One odd thing about the race was there was 950 entries for this Enduro, but at the end of the day, they only showed scores for 650 entries. So I know there were some glitches with the entry system where some people didn't get the minutes they thought they would get, but I wonder what happened to the 300 people that entered that didn't show. Did really 300 people not show up? So if anyone knows what went on here, I'd be curious to know.
So we just passed my my friend Brody Amos, and he's a more GNCC racer, and this was his first national enduro, and he did pretty good for never doing a national enduro in his life, but it was definitely an adjustment. And him and his family, we went out to dinner with them, we had a great weekend, and they also pitted for us, which was nice. If you guys haven't already, make sure you check out my Instagram. You see it in the top left, at Ryder Sigety. And right here, or in a little bit, I'm riding behind some person, and he falls over, and I hope that I didn't like scare him, and that's why he fell over. You probably saw it in the intro right here. I revved my engine, and then he fell, but I don't think it was my fault. So maybe in the thumbnail or at the beginning of the video, you guys might have seen that I got new moose gear, and this stuff looks so cool. And I'm also going to be using the same gear as the rest of the AmPro team, which should put me back in their advertisements again, which will be cool. And here's the start of section 4, by the way. So we're also trying a new tire. We're trying the Washougal 3. Well, we weren't trying it, but this is my first race using the front tire of a Washougal 3 Kenda, and it was hooking up great, especially in the sand with the tall knobbies. I mean, I felt like I could rail any berm I wanted to. My front really didn't slide out.
Yeah, so speak of sliding out, the terrain was really nice, for sure. It was like one of the nicest years we've had. The weather was great, there was no mud. Like at the end of the day, you could have cleaned your bike with a garden hose and no dust either. It was like basically Sumter perfect. But it is way more difficult and way more roots and braking bumps than you can see in a helmet cam video. It's kind of like watching Supercross or motocross and going, I could do that, that looks like fun. It's way rougher than it looks here. But still, again, another great day.
Right here, you see we're kind of riding through like a burnt forest. There's a year or two ago where the forest was actually on fire as we were going through it. So right there, you see I made a mistake and fall. It killed me. And my bike kind of tipped over and fell on me. That's why I said it killed me. But we could take a little look over. So I started to get tilted to the right on the edge of that rut, and I hit the tree with the right bark buster, and then it just kind of all goes downhill from there. But we're back on the bike, and yeah, it wasn't that bad. Thankfully, it only probably took 5-6 seconds away from my whole race. So.
You know what's funny? Everyone calls them bark busters, but it's really not bark busters. They're just full wraparounds. It's like calling a photocopy a Xerox or a refrigerator or Frigidaire. It's like an old term, bark buster, because they're like the first ones. Oh, here's John Johnson again.
Enough with the old people.
Oh, all right, there.
So I know it looks like Johnson's already pretty far ahead of me, and don't get me wrong, he definitely could get pretty far ahead of me if he needed to. But the fisheye lens on the GoPros make it look like everyone's a lot farther away. It makes it look like 10 feet is 30 feet. Like in real life, I feel like I'm riding on his tail right now. So Jonathan Johnson, Mitchell Owenby, and I were all talking at resets, and it was cool to be talking with some really fast people, and they were all really nice to me, which was also fun. And I had a great time hanging out with them a little bit. So right here, I see Johnson take a really good line through the woods right here, and I take the same one, and I just found it kind of interesting that he'd take that line. I mean, it was a really good line, don't get me wrong, but like you couldn't see if there were any sticks in there, but I guess that was like a choice that he had to make, and a good one that he made. So throughout the day, when I was getting passed by Johnson and Mitchell Owenby, I noticed that Mitchell Owenby was kind of tailing behind Johnson, and right now Owenby is right behind me. I hope I'm saying his name right, by the way. So Mitchell's right behind me, and then I fall right here, and he gets around me. And by the time I get my bike running, he's already out of sight, so it's too late for me to try to tail behind him and keep up with him. So my friend Brody Amos, that you saw earlier in the video, started on the row ahead of me, and him and I battled for the GNCC championship in 2021, and he was a great competitor and friend. And so I see him ahead of me right here. You can kind of see like a little red glimpse of his jerseys, and I know there's only a little bit of section left because of mile markers, and I'm just trying to catch up to him and pass him. And I do manage to catch up to him over these logs here, but I don't get the pass, but it was still fun, and he did a great job. So now the section 4 is ending, and section 5 will be starting soon. So this section was pretty different compared to the other ones because it started in a big field like this, and most of the other sections were really tight. This one, however, was really flowy, and I liked it a lot.
So you would think being down south it would be very sandy, but actually it was like a nice mixture of sand and clay. So the berms really held up well, and you could really rail it nice and get good traction. But oh boy, if it rained, it would have been a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, clay is super tough in the rain, really.
So coming up soon, I'm going to get passed again by Johnson, and we're going to see how long I can tag along for and hopefully keep up with him.
And don't forget to stick around to the end, or soon we're going to show you those overall results with Stu Baylor, who's the he's formerly won the national AMA Enduro Series, and today he got, I think, 7th. So that's really uncharacteristically bad for him. So the results are all mixed up, but it's very interesting if you're following the series at all.
So coming up right here, I stalled the bike, and you see how rubbed this tree is because everybody hitting it. And I get out of the way, and I'm back on this really fun not single track, that wide open stuff is really fun. And here's just a section of me passing through some people in the pits.
So here's another really famous racer, Rachel Gudish, and a very good friend of ours, super friendly to everyone at the track. She's really fast. She finished second in Women's Pro today, and this is, I think, the first time she caught you, Ryder. You guys generally were trading section wins back and forth, but I think at the end of the day, she got you here. She got you overall, I should say, at the end of the day. And she can do it all. She not only exercises several times a day, she does GNCC and does well. She does Endurocross and does well. And she's just really a top quality racer in person, and it's an honor to be at the races with her. She starts to gap you a little here with this guy getting between you, and then you kind of lose your seeing-eye rider to catch.
But you see here at the end, she was really only like one turn ahead of me, and she actually did great today though. She got second in the pro women's class, right?
Yep, and she beat you by a whole minute in that section.
Yeah. So here's the start of section 6, and I don't know, I was really tired. I was kind of tired at that point, and I was just kind of like blabbering, but that's what I was saying. This is my last section, and I'm really tired by this point, so I was pretty surprised to see that it was my best section of the day. I also had some not battling, but I was keeping up with Owenberg for a pretty long time, and I was pretty proud of that.
That's great, Ryder. And then coming up here, you'll see a bunch of Yamaha people in the woods pointing out lines, which was really great. And yep, here's one. That's a good line too.
Yeah, definitely saved the second.
There's another Yamaha guy. They even point out a line for me because my bike's blue.
And here's John.
He's still moving fast.
Yeah, he's always going fast. Making it as a daily section pass.
I wonder how your race would have been if he was on the line with you and you could have just started this section off with him instead of having him gain a minute on you.
Maybe Mitchell Owen being on the line would have been a little better though.
Oh yeah.
Because Mitchell Owen was just out of reach, but John was like pretty far out of reach.
Yeah. Well, Mitch is doing what you wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
He's tagging onto him, and like you want to tag onto them.
Yeah. So some exciting news is that I was interviewed by the AMA magazine, and I should be in there coming out, I don't know when.
March.
Coming out in March. And I was also in the Hammer Nutrition Endurance magazine. And if you guys have any questions about using Hammer Nutrition, what it is, how to get into it, just post it in the comments below, and my dad will make sure to answer it.
So here is the pro. Oh, by the way, please like and subscribe, and if you have any other questions or suggestions, we're happy to answer them. But here are the pro results, and congratulations to Grant Baylor, off to another great start of the season, winning the overall today on a Kawasaki. And I don't know when the last time a Kawasaki won a national enduro, but it could be as far back as the 90s. So good line, by the way. That's a really good line.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Ryder Lafferty, as you can see, got second, which is no surprise. He's super fast, and this is pretty much just like what he's got at home. So I was not surprised to see that. Josh in third. Way to go, Yamaha, Leon Draper for fourth, and he is a NE2 2 guy. So that's a really great finish for him to get fourth. Craig DeLong, another local, great kid, great racer. He got fifth. Mike Witowski sixth. Stu Baylor seventh. Seventh for Stu Baylor is probably one of his worst finishes in a long time, so not sure what's going on there. Good friend of ours, super nice person, Thorne Devlin. He did awesome. Looks like he got 8th overall too. And B.Kelly got 10th, which is again another uncharacteristically low finish for him. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it'll be interesting to see how the GNCC plays out, if they had off days, if they were playing it a little cautious. If you have any thoughts and comments on why the results were so upside down for some of these people, we'd be curious to hear, because we don't even know ourselves what happened.
So from here to the end, we're just gonna, no narration, show you some great race footage from section 6 of me following Owenby, and that's about it. I just hope to see you guys in the GNCC videos and next videos that we'll have coming out. So make sure you subscribe, like, and hit that little bell, and check out our Instagram too. Thank you. See you guys. Oh my god.
You stayed with us for a while, didn't